Ashmore, I don't think anyone saw this coming, including the three of us.
No, definitely not. I mean, 4-4, 5-4 on aggregate. What a game for the neutral. Goals galore, end-to-end stuff. I think when Real Madrid scored their fourth goal, I think it was, and you thought, this is it. Real Sociedad pulled one back, and then it was an unbelievable goal. An unbelievable game, and I think we've been treated to maybe this is the trend. Last week we had a 4-4 on the Tuesday night. Last month, we had a 4-4 draw on the Tuesday night, and then a 1-0 win for Real Madrid on the Wednesday. So maybe this is
1-0 win for Barca tomorrow. After today, I think we all need a little break. We'll get to tomorrow. But Chantal, I mean, you had the closest prediction, let's say, to this, and that was 3-2 to Real Madrid. But in the 90 minutes, it was actually 4-3 to Real Sociedad.
Honestly, again, we've seen this over and over and over again when it comes on to Real Madrid. You think that they're going to fumble it, and then something happens, and they end up winning the match. No, when they were down to... When it was 4-3, I was like, oh my God, is this actually happening? And then something turned on, and here we are. But I'm just lost for words because, like, I didn't expect the match. Like, I knew it would have been, we would have seen goals for sure because, like, I was saying that I'm going to see 3-2. Maybe that's the results. But 8 goals. We saw Tchouaméni scoring, who hasn't scored in ages. Then Rudiger with the winner. Listen, it was quite a match. And as a neutral, I'm pretty sure that you would have enjoyed this match because it was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I think it was more of a... It's hard to say because this one, there were a lot of mistakes, is what I will say.
That is true.
Alex, let's start with Real Madrid and Ancelotti with the decisions of who he started in this one. Did I not say David Alaba maybe shouldn't be starting in this one? 2 mistakes from him cost Real Madrid 2 goals. And Chantal, Lucas Vazquez, what do you have to say?
No, honestly, like, I'm trying to be so patient. But, Sarah, you might have been onto it in the sense of Alaba shouldn't have been on because had Real Madrid not be the team that they are, where you can make a mistake and then you have your teammates help you and save the day, then they would have been in big trouble. So maybe Alaba, this wasn't the game for him, for sure.
I think it just seemed like he wasn't, like I said, I just don't think he was quite ready. No. And you could see that with some of the mistakes. And then obviously we saw Lucas Vazquez didn't have a great game. No. Lunin also seemed really shaken in this one. And you have to give Sociedad some credit, Alex, in the sense that we talked about the fact that they had no Brais Mendes, they had no Geraldo Becker, Pacheco, Zakarian. They were so depleted. And also after we saw the equalizer from Endrick, I think we all thought this was going to go in one direction. And they held on nearly until, the 118th minute.
They held their own.
I do think it's a bit hard done by. I almost was hoping it would go to penalties simply because at that point, even if they lost on penalties, I think they deserve a round of applause simply because they almost had no business competing against Real Madrid with such a depleted side.
No, I mean, credit to him, and I criticised him. Well, criticised maybe a heavy word, but I pointed out a weak spot in the midfield with Pablo Marín. He was fantastic tonight. He was running himself ragged, obviously getting a goal, you call it in inverted commas, obviously Alaba with the one who put it in the net. But no, credit to Real Sociedad, and a few takeaways from tonight, really. There's only ever been 4 or more goals scored against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu on 3 occasions in the 21st century. And Real Sociedad...
How many times was it Barcelona?
Barcelona, the only team to have done it more than 5 times. And another interesting stat, across all competitions, obviously Real Valladolid have conceded the most goals. I think Girona is second, but have a guess who's third?
Real Madrid.
Which surprises me in a way.
Barcelona has 10 against them.
It's true, but I think when you look at as a whole, the defensive frailties, but no, I thought Real Sociedad were fantastic tonight. Just coming up short, I think by the end they just looked absolutely spent. That you could tell that goal went in, whereas when they came back for the other goal, this last goal, I think that was just the straw.
Rudiger had all the time and space in the world there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
let's talk though now about, okay, so Real Madrid go through, and like you said, Chantal, they're a team that always, you can't rule them out until that whistle is blown. And that's exactly what we've seen time and time again this season with Real Madrid. But I think Carlo Ancelotti was really hoping to rest some of these players like Mbappe, but then we saw Modric come on, we saw Brahim come on, we saw Fran Garcia come on, and all these players that were hoping to maybe get some rest now are tired, have to play Valencia over the weekend, and obviously they have a massive match against Arsenal next week too. So even though they got the win, which is the most important thing, absolutely, but there's going to be probably another round of substitutions for the game against Valencia over the weekend because it didn't. I'm assuming it didn't go to Carlo Ancelotti's way, and he was really hoping not to have played everyone that he played.
No, honestly, I want to say, first of all, it was a good match in the sense of I'm just so happy with the quality of play that I saw from Real Sociedad. Like, I wasn't expecting this from them. But in terms of the match against Valencia, no shade to Valencia, but I feel like my biggest concern would be Arsenal that they would have to face. So I want to say that they should be able to hold their own against Valencia, who has been underperforming.
But
I'm just really, I'm really worried.
Sorry, Leganes last week, anyone?
No, I'm just saying, I mean,
Leganes are worse than, much worse than Valencia, and Alex is about to say that they are on a 4-game unbeaten bounce.
Yes,
Thank
they
you,
are.
go for it.
And they're, what, now 4 points above the drop zone? Carlos Cobaran doing a fantastic job
you see
there.
them posing a real threat to
I
Real
really do.
Madrid.
And
Leganes
also-
did, why can't Valencia?
I
Real
also-
Sociedad just did too.
I know it's not the Mestalla, but these Real Madrid Valencia
Maybe
games
I do
always
have too
that.
much faith in Real Madrid.
But I think these Real Madrid Valencia games always do have that added level of spice to it. Yes, it's not
Yeah.
Mestalla, but and this is obvious, Carlo Ancelotti will know this, they shouldn't overlook Valencia. Valencia are a strong side. Carlos Cobaran is doing a fantastic job there. And like we said, 4 games unbeaten. No game is a guaranteed win in La Liga.
I think, and it's
Then if they struggle against Valencia, then how is it going to look with them facing Arsenal? Because like that was
they
a
struggled
game
against Leganes.
But this
I'm
is the
worried
Champions
Struggle
League.
against
Real Madrid
Sociedad.
always perform in the Champions League.
No.
But that's, we saw them. They lost that Espanyol.
But they beat Atletico Madrid. Like
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not. We know how good they can be.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I wouldn't overlook
just so
Valencia when they've
unpredictable.
lost to worse teams.
It's really unpredictable at this point. Like you never know
It's the
what
end
you
of
will
the
get.
season.
You'll never know what you'll get
Yeah.
until the match happens.
Yeah, and like I said, I think because of the way this match went, Carlo Ancelotti won't be too pleased that every single one of his players got minutes in and might be a little bit tired for the match against Valencia. Alex, back to Real Sociedad. Now, as much as we have to give them kudos for the fight that they had, there were also... They could have buried a few more, and they might be kicking themselves a little bit for some chances that they had that they could have created, and they just didn't do enough. And also, and not to take away from Real Sociedad, but the defending of Real Madrid today was very bad.
No, I mean, Real Madrid were there for the taking. You look at that back four that they started with, Alaba. To be honest, I don't think I can criticise Camavinga too much. I thought he did a solid job.
He might have been the best defender out of the 4.
I thought Asensio had a disappointing night, and Vasquez as well, who's been showing up quite a few weaknesses over the last couple of games. But this is, I think, the story of the game where you don't finish your chances against Real Madrid, and you can't expect to come away with the win. And Real Sociedad will be looking back at this game in the days to come as they prepare for the weekend and thinking what could have been, because I know this Real Madrid side have been playing a lot better over the last sort of 4 or 5 months compared to the beginning of the season, but this defence is still there to be taken, and I think they'll be kicking themselves. Like you said, there are some opportunities that they could have put in the back of the net there and put themselves through to the final.
Yeah. All right, well, let's now join the man at the Santiago Bernabeu and see if his heart is still beating, Mr. Clinton Codd.
Yeah, no, Sarah, listen, like you said, if my mind is still, sorry, my heart is still beating. I used my phone to check my blood pressure with an app. I mean, it's an app developed by myself, and my blood pressure is about 200 to 140. That's how crazy the game was. It was pure entertainment, a lot of goals, obviously. I did say to you guys just before the game started that, you know, the defense of Real Madrid was...
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you for a quick second because the sound is a little bit bad, so we're going to get you to fix that, and we'll jump back to you in just a moment here. I'm sure it's absolute chaos post
can
this
imagine.
match. Sorry, Alex, we were talking about the defense, though, and Chantal, you were saying, you know, you're fearing a team like an Arsenal versus a Valencia, and they do have to take on Arsenal next week.
Saka came back and scored. Like,
Saka is back. Saka, Gabriel has officially not been ruled out 100% for the match against Real Madrid.
Not looking promising.
Not looking promising, but what does that mean? You got two teams that can't defend. Okay, I expect goals. I mean, listen, like, we know it doesn't matter who Real is going to take on in terms of their front three, what defenders, they're going to score. There will be one goal for sure. But Bukayo Saka is going to be coming to Madrid in, 3 weeks' time? And we'll be playing against them next week. Alex, yeah, he's just coming back from injury, but we know what Bukayo Saka's capable of, right? He's a wonderful player to watch. He's absolutely brilliant on the wing, and he's unpredictable. And who is going to go up against him? Is it going to be Fran Garcia?
Probably will be. Him or Felamendi, but...
Oh, you hope it's Fran Garcia.
I think when you look at... I mean, we all know how good Saka is. He's 10 goals this season, 14 assists. He's a danger on that left wing, and Arsenal have looked to a completely different team without him, and they'll be delighted to have him back just in time. And yes, it's still an uphill battle, but you never know with Real Madrid's defensive frailties. And
I mean, like I said, no one expected this.
No, exactly. But this is Real Madrid in the Champions League, and Real Madrid in the Champions League is a different animal. So.
All right, well, let's go back to Clinton Cott and see if we can hear you. Clinton, talk to us.
Right, Sarah, can you hear me now? Is it good?
Talk to me, Clinton. I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Okay, now, Sarah, I was saying earlier, just before you heard me, actually, I think we have a player just coming my way now. I don't know if we're able to go in, but I'll just tell you quickly, Sarah. The truth is, I told you from the start that the Real Madrid defense was going to be an issue, and clearly we could see it. You know, this game was such a dramatic one. I used an app developed by myself to check my blood pressure, and it was about 200 to 190. It was very, very high. And it was just one goal. The next team replies, the next goal, the next team replied. And, you know, both teams defensively, I think there was quite a few errors between all of them, and that's why we kept on seeing all of these goals. I was just happy to see Rudiger come onto that Real Madrid defense to kind of like stabilize one or two things there, and you know, everyone is happy. Real Madrid eventually got the win, and now they are on to the finals.
Clinton, I have to ask you about a player that you have been praising and calling for in David Alaba. Oh, you know, you've been saying Real Madrid need him, they miss him, he's the guy. 2 goals came from David Alaba, and was it a mistake that Carlo Ancelotti started Alaba when, you know, he hasn't been getting minutes and he's just returning from an injury?
Well, I mean, Sarah, what you got to understand is we pretty much had this conversation where we said Carlo Ancelotti was trying to manage just Real Madrid players against the most important games. I understand that the Copa del Rey is one of the important ones. However, it's not as important as the league competition, where they need to start, you know, battling with Barcelona properly. And obviously, they have a game this weekend against Valencia. You said it. Next week they also have against an Arsenal. So starting Alaba obviously does make sense, because they would want to rest the likes of, obviously, Rudiger, Mbappe, and the rest of them, which we saw. Now, it's quite unfortunate to see Alaba still trying to find his ways around being what he used to be before, which isn't happening. And that's exactly what we saw, you know, letting or making some awful mistakes that led to Real Madrid conceding goals. I mean, it's Alaba. My man has been injured for a long time, so let's just give him the slack.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. Carlo Ancelotti, though, I think it might have backfired, Clinton, because in the end, all of the players that were meant to be rested did end up getting some minutes here. But I want to ask you about Real Sociedad, because you were going off in our group chat, giving them a lot of praise. So I want you to do it now for the people of South Africa. Now,
the fact is, when you look at this Real Sociedad team, this, or will I even say, Sarah, I've watched every single home game at the Santiago Bernabeu, and one thing I know for sure is every team apart from Barcelona that's come to play here, you would notice they all defend. Most of them are scared of playing. But what I've seen with this Real Sociedad today is they've not felt like, you know what, we are the underdogs or we are the inferior team here. We want to play as if this is our stadium. And I saw the courage, I saw the braveness of these players, you know, throwing passes here and there, you know, being able to handle the ball, being able to score goals. We saw how they were able to walk past even Camavinga a couple of times, and I was quite shocked that this is the Real Sociedad that has been playing the La Liga this season. You know, for me, from what I saw on the pitch, I was pretty much very impressed with what I saw. You know, it was almost like a score, you reply. I mean, when was the last time we saw 8 goals being scored in the stadium? That is the question. Which team has been able to do it against a Real Madrid? It's Real Sociedad. In all of it, what would you grab for all of, you know, what's happened today? It's real meeting real. What you get is proper realness.
This can't be real.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. Oh, my God. Oh, well, Clinton's checking his phone, getting some messages from Victor Boniface, who now wants to go to Real
sorry,
Sociedad
it was
for how
the
they
audio.
performed.
It was the audio. No, sorry, it was the audio. It was the audio. I was just trying to
Wait, so
put
Victor
the audio on
Boniface
again.
isn't now wanting to
Sorry.
go to Real Sociedad after that brilliant performance at the Santiago Bernabeu, Clinton?
Honestly, looking at what they've done today, I think I'm going to have to send him an Instagram DM to, I think you need to consider Real Sociedad. I was quite impressed with them. I think, you know, the kind of fight that they put up against Real Madrid, it was very impressive. Yeah, the moment we finish this conversation, I think I'm definitely sending him 2 messages, one on my Instagram, the other one on my WhatsApp, hopefully.
Don't pester
And
him
hopefully
too
he
much,
would reply.
Clinton.
Absolutely brilliant. Victor Boniface, it's official. SportyTV.
Listen, he has to.
He's got to go to Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad also only scoring more than 4 goals twice this season, one in the group stage in the Europa League and one in the Copa del Rey first round. And the fact that they did it against Real Madrid. I mean, listen, Clinton, it's all, the stars are aligning. Victor Boniface to Real Sociedad, here we go.
April Fool's Day.
Oh, no, it's not.
Here we go, Sarah.
Too late.
Okay, Clinton, well, we'll let you go.
I just hope they're able to afford him, though.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. You got to make some moves. Slide into those DMs. But Clinton, we'll let you go. We know you had an absolute great time at that match and what a match it was. And hopefully you'll come back telling us who you spoke to.
Now, thank you very much, Sarah, Alex, and I don't know if Chantel is still in the studio. Very big shout out to Real Madrid, Real Sociedad as well. An amazing match. My South Africans, Ooh, to the finals.
All right, guys. Well, that was just the second leg of match day. Match day 1 here for the second leg. We're going to do it all again tomorrow for Atletico and Barcelona. And as Alex mentioned, we already had a 4-4 in that one. Can we expect? Can you imagine if it was 4-4 again?
16 goals in 2
No.
days.
Ooh. When we gotta look into the records. We gotta look. Let's see what happens first. But we're gonna be back again tomorrow. Clinton, Alex, and I will be at the Metropolitano. So make sure you guys all join in back from South Africa because we have Atletico Madrid taking on Barcelona here in the capital. But I think it's now time for us to leave. Go to bed. Everyone get ready for tomorrow. So we hope you did enjoy Real Madrid for Real Sociedad for what a match. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Until then, as always, enjoy the football.